have seen Clint Eastwood in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Hapless Drifter, and in The Dirty Harry Moose. But the one it did in 1976 called The Outlaw Josey Wales is a movie that perhaps has gone a bit under the radar. In this movie, he plays the role as the brutal character Josey Wales, known as Mr. Landing because he can draw his gun faster than everybody. The reason why this performance from Clint Eastwood is underrated comes down to the way he carries the burden of the character. How he 100% manages to live himself into this character that does not want to realize that the war is over and refuses to surrender. Against all odds, he stands against oppressors, manages to form agreements with Indian tribes, and it is the act where you see a man that puts his respect over to everybody that crosses him, even those that are against him. Because what this movie does so well, although it will be a little bit of a sidestepping from this video's purpose, but in this case, we talk about the way the story is built about this middle legend Josey Wales, the man that everybody is afraid of. Of course, if you have seen the first John Wick, it is the exact same thing there. And of course, like that movie, it is also down to the fearful way that both Keanu Reeves and in this case Clint Eastwood acts. Of course, you may have seen him in a lot of Western movies, and in a lot of those masculine tough guy roles, but at the same time what makes it different is how this character is haunted and traumatized by the backstory that you so quite clearly see in the beginning of the movie, and during some of the flashback scenes. That is actually something that shows how this character is a bit fragile under that hardened shell, and Clint Eastwood is very good to act on that emotion. I feel also that Clint Eastwood looks sharp during the dialogue and during the action scenes. Of course, he did this when he was around about a couple of 40 years old. But Clint Eastwood has also been praised for what he did in Gran Torino, where he of course acts good given that he had got so old right about the time. But here he throws up one of his sharpest acts during the 70s, which also can be compared closely to what he did in The Dirty Harry Moose. Just like in a lot of old movies, we got a cast that stands out here, where both the Chief, played by Chief Dan George, Sandra Locke as Laura Lee, did good performances. But as the center line in this movie all the time, when he throws a line or two, when he shoots down somebody or spits in his rather peculiar fashion, making Josey Wales look like this rather nasty character. That is all the work of the late great Clint Eastwood, and we all admire him highly for it. Because this movie would have been nowhere near as entertaining without him, and that's why I will give this one a strong 7, and it is largely down to the role done by Clint Eastwood, which is quite impressive.